vibrating matrix of color that's talking to me. An orchard of fields in a forest of wandering trees. This is the kingdom of dreaming, and this is a very, very good dream.
Sagging like black and white.
You okay?
Your society and your government are going to take good care of you. I think they will.
The process of creation was my buddy Lucas and I. We grew up making videos and stuff just for fun, like staying at each other's house and just kind of making like David Lynch rip-offs, you know. Like put a camera on the chair and like roll it down the hallway while someone's sitting there all creepy. And so
I moved out here 3 years ago, not intending to become like a music video director, but just to make films. And I ran into a guy I grew up with back in California. I grew up in Northern California, Bay Area. And he was in a band that had some success out here already. And he was like, "Hey man, I remember you make videos. Like, how do we do this thing?" And I was like, let's fucking sit down and talk about it.
It takes a lot of sort of creative effort really to reinterpret a song from just a recorded song into a music video. And we've gotten really lucky to, one, Adam's had a lot of the creative ideas behind it, but when we started working with Melissa Cha on our very first music video, we were very grateful to sort of bring on a director who immediately saw our vision.
I had a lot of imagery that was inspired by like Holy Mountain, you know, all the cultish like set pieces, and we wanted it to be a bigger production than the videos we had done before. So we had all these ideas for like creating sets and
props
yeah. And we have a lot of friends who are interested in art direction, so we recruited them to help us with that.
And so the process for me is different for each video, but it generally starts with me probably packing a bowl, listening to the song, getting a little bit stoned, and sort of just seeing what images come to mind. Sometimes it's one song, sometimes they're like, we know this is going to be the single that we want to release and have the video push, or they're like, here's the whole album, pick a song you like, whatever you want to do, let's, you know, try to see if we can do that. Yeah. This guy actually had the song picked out.
Yeah.
When we did Protest or Not Tonight. But it was, I mean, a fantastic song to where instantly I was getting visuals for it and was like, yeah, this, you know, we got to do this.
From my point of view, me and my collaborator on the project, Brother Bear, knew that we wanted that to be the single. And so we knew we wanted to have a strong visual element for it. And just going into any music video that I'm doing for a project of mine, I think the most important thing to me is an engaging story. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the bottom line. The cool visuals, I always want there to be something cool and catchy and visual about it that sets it apart and makes it fun to watch. But at the end of the day, I'm like, my roots are also I also moved here to make movies, to make features. And so I have a lot of roots in like narrative storytelling.
Right.
And so, yeah, when I was talking to Zach about the project to begin with, that was a lot of the conversations we had, or like, what is the story that we're telling? And then also going back to being limited by budget and pulling out of your bag of tricks, a lot of that story turns into cooler shots, but you at least still have a cohesive idea or
like a theme.
A theme, yeah. Something that rationalizes everything else.
Yeah.
And I wish that I could flick it, but I hate being a bigger man. But I'ma keep it 110 times till I hit it grand. This man gon' build it cause he running the show. What you think? Do you wanted to know? Cause ain't nobody gonna give you nothing under the door. So if you want it, come and get it, take a little control.
At the beginning, they have a first idea, a seed. You have to grow up or it's only your ideas you're gonna work with it?
Totally depends. I mean, I can work with, like, sometimes bands will have an entire idea outlined out for me to then come in and make it fit within the
And this kind of
structure.
idea is already doable, or you have to rethink about it?
Typically, you always have to rethink it out, you know, and that's, you know, hopefully part of the collaboration, and they're enjoying that, where they have an idea or they have a character, and then
an atmosphere. An atmosphere,
yeah. And then they'll have me make that work within a 3-minute story, or just some sort of expression of a concept. It doesn't always have to be a narrative story. And then sometimes bands will, especially if they're coming to me after seeing my previous work and that's why they're choosing me, then they just totally let me have free reign, or they'll want me to pitch them ideas.
Awesome.
But that's in the event that an idea comes out of me listening to the song that they want to do. And I would say more often than not, a band will say, hey, we want to do a music video. Here's our entire album. Give it a listen and tell us which one you like.
Pick one?
Yeah.
Oh.
And more often than not, I tend to pick songs that aren't the singles, or that aren't the, you know, the main song that they're trying to push. So there can be kind of a little conflict there, you know, and talking through the idea, but
and sometimes I guess the song is too long to be used in the music video. But the band want to or would like to, but it's not doable.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the tough ones. As soon as I see a song that's over 3 minutes, I start kind of sweating a little bit.
We came out with our second LP titled Graphic last year in 2016, and since then we've been making a music video for every single song on the album. So Nothing is the latest finished one that we've done, and our productions keep on getting bigger and better every time we do it. So we've done 7 out of the 10 songs on the album for music videos now.
And then our plan at the end, when we have all these videos, is to release them all together as a video album.
Yeah.
So from start to finish, you can listen to the record, but with the video accompaniment to it.
All right, so the music video activity is kind of like an extension of your music, right?
Definitely, yeah. And it's kind of nice, like I said before, it's like a reinterpretation. So we can take a song that we've already worked on creatively and find a whole new creative outlet to reimagine it and have it be seen in a totally different way.
Yeah, I mean, with our band Troller, we've really wanted to put a lot of work into separating ourselves from a lot of other bands in a lot of ways who maybe don't make as many music videos as we do at the similar level of status. So we just really want to separate ourselves from all the other synth, you know, sad pop goth bands around by actually having a lot of visual content that people can see and experience. It's a little bit deeper than just the record, you know?
In the making of videos, we usually find a location and then just let ideas play themselves out.
So you don't let your idea grows and grows. You have an idea and you want to develop it to exploit it at the maximum in a shorter time as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When we've worked with the director of the hyperspace video and the Satan is my chair video, his name is David Cole, and when we've worked with him, he plans things out. He takes time to make storyboards. He draws out which scenes he wants when. Like he thinks that way because he's a filmmaker, but I'm not at all. So when we made Heron King, we didn't get to work with David on that one. So
you had some ideas and you talk with him about what you want, what you would want, and how he proceeds with that.
He brought a lot of the ideas himself.
A lot of ideas.
Yeah, when we've worked with David, he listens to the song over and over and over, and I guess something in his brain just works in a more visual way. He has visual ideas.
I think the most important part about creating film is just trusting what you see and trusting your intuition. It does depend if you work with the client or not, because sometimes you'll make a video and the client or the artist will just be like, go ahead, like do what you want. Other times you have to work with the artist and get their creative input, and I think really at the end of the day you just have to trust what you see and what you feel. Sometimes I'll listen to a song like 1,000 times. The film is about rebirth and honestly the life of a butterfly. So I pulled inspiration from a fetus, but also inspiration from the cocoon that a butterfly grows in. And yeah, I think the way that life progresses is really beautiful, and I think that's why I wanted to showcase that imagery. Also, in terms of like why I picked the cocoon and the butterfly, a lot of different religions believe that the butterfly is the soul, and so I thought that was really beautiful to connect the idea of birth and rebirth and the growth of a life and a human life and a butterfly. I just thought the imagery and meaning was really beautiful. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, fetuses are insane when you think about it, but yeah, good.
Adam and Amber came to me. They had the concept, like a loose concept for the Nothing video, and so we worked together to like shape a narrative around there. We definitely wanted to have it feel like a like 60s sci-fi vibe, and definitely loved Mobius and had that like in my mind as I was like storyboarding and all that. We also watched together, like me and the DP watched a lot of clips from like Clouseau, you know, Clouseau's unfinished film Inferno. He had this film that he never finished, but there's these really beautiful scenes where he had like lights rotating on on this rig around someone's face. So the lights sort of create these shadows that are really abstract, and so we built something like that to borrow from those images. And our friends built this huge rig in like one night, just so that we could have these rotating lights in one of the scenes.
I hit on my friend Lucas, and we wanted to create a consciousness that could be a real physical space, but still represent kind of like inside someone's brain. So we kind of started out with a much bigger area, working with the stage, trying to make a stage and kind of alter that. And we had costumes with our entire bodies, and actually working with kind of restriction on budget, knowing that we had to build the place, that we would have to transport it, all of that sort of thing. We decided to just stick with my garage and to try and utilize scale and play with scale a lot more. So taking things that are really small and allowing them to become this big room, or taking things that are like really big and making them just a small element of it. So we started in the garage just with like wooden planks and chicken wire and PVC pipe, and I think we got kind of far enough along where it was too late to turn back, So we grabbed a bunch of friends and just kind of went to work. A lot of sketchings, a lot of drawings, a lot of kind of bouncing ideas off of each other in order to do this. I think it really kind of developed to be a space inside of my consciousness where I was forced to see somebody over and over and over that was altered, that was no longer who they were, and they wanted to escape, and I wanted them to escape. And yeah, and I feel like the only way that anyone would be able to see that is through art and music. And so what we did was create this cave that would be like the inside of my mind, where I'm forced to watch this person and like reminisce of this person that is no longer there and no longer the same, and kind of tortured in a way. I'm able to watch inside from my own consciousness through that like bubble. And then the bandmates, we made different like heads where they could poke their head into this consciousness by performing this song. By being a part of this video, they're able to witness that like torture and that suffering inside of one's consciousness, wanting to kind of like let go of someone, but them always being a piece of that consciousness.
So you manage the team to do a good work between the artistic view and the will of make. That could be sometimes very difficult to be done.
Yeah, I think especially personally, I empathize, and I get immediately so excited with someone's creative vision of what they'd like to bring to fruition, and perhaps I understand it, but it takes me my own personal conflict to see how we're going to bring it to life together. And I like to think that when you have great people all involved that are all equally excited about what they're bringing to the table, then you manage to make it work, and you're all going to walk away at the end of the day feeling good about what you did.
This is me in my zone, bitches, just me and my own riches. Small circle, I'm all Urkel, cause family matters. I saw purple and green in my weed jar. From the city where the pretty little women go nuts. We are who we are. Ain't no telling what I'm gonna do next. Keep up, I'll rap over stack. Come city on my back, opposites might attract.
All right. And with what kind of budget do you work? It is always with a very, very low budget, so you have to be very tricky for the shooting, for the accomplishment of the project.
Yeah, currently, like a non-existent budget is typically what we step on board with. In the future, I'd like to start building ways to obviously improve that situation, but when you start with that, you kind of pull back, and without immediately deleting creative ideas of what you would like to try and make happen, you start asking, well, where's my first best resource? And where's the first best value and solid relationship that I have that I know is going to understand where I'm coming from and work with me? And then I'll start studying the tedious, like, who else can I make little clippings or like resources that I can figure out a suitable solution to.
Budget always comes up for the band of sort of like, well, how much is this going to cost to do? And I guess it's always like, I would love to just give out a number like, we need $2,000, we need $20,000, but it's really like, well, let's talk about the concept, sort of the dream budget, like, hey, if money's not an issue, let's start there, think big, and then work our way back, knowing like, okay, well, we could do this if we had $5,000, we only have $3,000, so we have to then sacrifice this visual piece here.
Or be more tricky.
Or be more tricky with it, exactly.
How you start big, start with the dream, and then look at the money, and then cut what's not necessary, and get down to just the bare bones and what you can pull off. So for example, we wanted to shoot it in a real roller rink, but the budget to rent one out for 2 days was pretty obscenely more than like 20 times our entire budget.
Right.
So then we started paring it down, and we eventually found this place where I do a lot of shows in town that Zach and Taylor were able to totally transform, and so it's still like, it's just as good, if not better in the end, because of the ingenuity of that, and especially the lighting design. And then to see it become more than you had in your head, to see it become greater than, because of people having better ideas than you, and because of people like being able to figure it out.
Being able to collaborate.
Yeah, exactly.
I always, because you know how hard it is for bands to get money, right?
Sure.
And I respect that, and I empathize with that hugely. But so I always approach it as how much money are you wanting to spend on this, and then I'll base the ideas
and you deal
on
with
that
it.
parameter. So I can do a video for $100, but I'm not going to bring, you know, a 10-person crew in that's expecting to be paid or fed well. You know, it'll probably be me with a camera that we rent, and we like utilize what that scenario can produce. You know, like I don't try to shoot something really complex if it's just me and a DP. I'll try to say, how do we make something that's looks intentionally minimal.
But it's millions around me screaming, and I wanna join the chorus. Look, can I admit that straight up and not give a straight fuck for a moment? Cause I throw my hands way up and salute to the troops of resistance, and you can hear the voices of the kids singing.
As opposed to the other, you know,
if you have a big crew, it's easier to work on a big project.
Yeah, then you can let your ideas blossom within those parameters. You know, so. I've been burned too many times by coming up with an idea that I want to do and then trying to make it work with $500 when in reality it needs to be a $10,000 video.
Most of the equipment we use to make videos is borrowed or rented. We work on a shoestring budget, just very little money, and that is exciting to me. I like that. I like that challenge, the DIY, the do-it-yourself mentality. It's like it sets a challenge, and you're like, can you make something compelling out of nothing or very little? The props are all very simple. The costumes are either non-existent or very simple, and to me that lets us get to the heart of things, because then it's all about ideas, and that's all you have left is ideas. So I think it would only help to be better funded, to be better supported in some way like that, or to use whatever resources we have more toward that. Yeah, it would only help. I don't think we would lose integrity in any way, because it's still all about the ideas.
About the equipment, you told me you shot the last music video.
All iPhone, yeah. I didn't want to bother with assembling a large crew and doing,
It's very light, so you're really free with your movement, with where you want to shop.
Yeah, it's freedom to be able to work with. I mean, iPhones are incredible. They can do that kind of like high quality work.
I touch my face in hyperspace, oh yeah.
So we pretty much produce almost all of the music videos that come from the artists on Holodeck Records. There's a few artists that have been doing film for a while. For instance, Lou Rebecca, who is our newest artist from France. She has been working with film, actual film. She's actually the only artist we have that uses real film for a long time, so she has a long history of that. But for the most part, everyone's kind of new to filmmaking and music videos, so they've been looking to us to help with that. But since the very first Troller video, we sort of immediately fell in love with the format, and I personally fell in love with the producing side of it, so we've taken a pretty heavy hand at producing all of the music videos. We've had the pleasure of being able to use a really nice studio.
About slow motion, what's your ideas of theoretical ideas about the slow motion during making a music video?
I think slow-mo is a powerful thing to use in film and for music videos, and I think it's also something that can easily be exploited and used too much and sort of become a gimmick as opposed to actually,
like a trap.
Yes, and instead of using it for something to actually push the story or, you know, the theme. I've done 2 music videos now that are completely in slow motion, just because I wanted to play with the heightened sort of realism of it, of seeing everything move so slow and sort of weird interactions with people go down while that happens. But I think it's a great tool to use. And depending on the song too, I mean, if it's a long song, it can kill a lot of time.
It's a beautiful tool.
Yeah.
But if you do it, if you overdo it or use it when it's not necessary, then people tune out. You have to use it sparingly and when it's like called for, you know.
Yeah.
And kind of let the project tell you when it works and when it doesn't.
Exactly.
It's more
force it on there.
An aspect, a fascinating aspect.
Yes.
And people just want to be fascinating every time, and sometimes it's not linked with the project at all.
Exactly. Not every image is fascinating. Not every image deserves to be seen in slow motion.
Right.
Like
some images are functional, but not necessarily aesthetic.
Right.
And need to be in there, but you don't need to hold on them. So yeah, it's finding the moments that are aesthetic and functional, and then you can whip that tool out.
Yeah.
It is close to the Michael Bay syndrome, with the explosion every time.
Exactly.
Explosion every time.
Right.
Exactly.
More, bigger, bah.
There's a great video about it's funny you said that, because I was just thinking of that. There's a great video, one of the Every Frame a Painting videos about Michael Bay, and they talk about his technical tricks and how he's got a few technical tricks that are amazing, but he does them so much that they lose all meaning.
Right.
The shots to the timing of the song, you kind of figure out the rise and fall of the song and where does the pinnacle happen in the song itself, and then let that dictate how many characters you're able to use. You know, I kind of identified at that point in the song, here is the pinnacle of the song itself. I've got X amount of time to introduce a character or characters to build an expectation and create a surprise at this point in the song, and then I've got like this much left for a resolution, right? So you kind of just run the math on it and the time and roughly how many shots you're going to be able to fit within that chunk, and then that determines, okay, I need about 3 to 4 characters to weave this idea together.
I'm definitely fascinated by digital artifacts and like pushing that. I think like glitchy videos, like using digital artifacts as like a stylistic choice.
Glitching, you say?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was pretty popular back in the 70s when people were experimenting with like analog video and digital video later. Like Takeshi Murata is another one who did that. He like did the data moshing that like Kanye West used, and it became really popular for a while. And I think that people are gonna keep pushing that. I definitely do. I love digital artifacts. And definitely in Austin, there's like a big analog like video synthesizer movement happening where people are getting really interested in that. One reason why I use slow motion a lot actually is like because you have so many more frames, you can pull, you can like push the movement so much more in like After Effects or something.
I mean, it's an interesting scene out here because it is, as you know, everyone says, the music capital of the United States.
Let's say of the world.
Of the world, even, yeah, the world.
It's very self-important.
Yeah. I mean, you probably have more insight into the actual music scene here.
Well, I was going to say just the idea of being drug into it.
Yeah.
Like, you and I both came here to make features, right?
Right.
You do music, you're
And now we're making music
primarily,
videos.
and I'm making music primarily.
Right.
So I do think you get drug into it.
Yeah.
I think music videos are important because not only do they allow you to still express yourself cinematically, but they also kind of, like you said, it is atmospheric. Like we can hear like 3 songs playing out there right now, and when you make a music video, you encapsulate that energy into this one digestible, kind of eternal project that exists within a set space and time, and it can be shared. So I think that's, I mean, honestly, I think that's just the importance of any sort of recording, whether it's audio or video. But in terms of the scene, yeah, I mean, I moved here to make movies, and then I ended up making a little rap album with the composer for my movie, and then I started booking hip-hop shows, and then I kind of became known for that. And only now am I starting to feel, I guess, artistically confident enough to start bridging back over and working in narrative again.
I know I upload all the videos I make to my Vimeo and YouTube accounts, and then the band also generally has like a PR person or somebody that they've contacted who'll try to send it out to blogs or bigger websites. Adam, you just went through this, so you probably know. I just the ins and outs.
I put it up on YouTube, I boost it a little, and then try to send it to local press, and then come up with a list of emails. And generally, it's kind of like it's a snowballing. You start small and you build up as you get more traction.
And it really depends too on the band's pull, you know, as far as like where the band is in their career, if they're about to blow up, if they're already huge, if they're just starting, and that sort of takes different levels of I guess, getting out there and seen by people. Depending on where the band is with things. But the Austin Music Video Film Fest is a huge avenue as far as like it's a film festival just for music videos. It seems that a lot of festivals now have a music video category, but I don't know how prestigious it is. It's not like a whole festival.
Focus on it.
Yeah, like dedicated.
The All Right Award, which is the best Austin video of the year, and on and on and on. This is Zachary Scott, director here. Talkies, I Hate Myself, and everyone else. A lot of familiar faces. We got the holodeck crew.
Holodeck in the house. Pablo, our French friends.
Got our French folks. Pablo.
Yes. Hi.
Miguel.
Hike from LA here. Some Austin's in the house, no doubt.
Is Austin in the house?
There it is.
Austin Music Video Festival, you are the 3 organizer of this festival in Austin. What is it exactly?
Well, the Austin Music Video Festival was formed to shine a brighter light on the music video art form, both locally and internationally, and kind of provide a nice hybrid music and film festival that appreciates the art of music videos, but also doesn't take itself too seriously. It has a good time and throws some parties too.
Yes, we like to keep things experiential. So sure, bringing music videos to the big screen and a big theater, big sound, that's important, right? That you can enjoy a piece of art like that much better in this context than you can on a phone or maybe a laptop, which is how so many people absorb this stuff today. And then additionally, we put screens up at swimming pools and skating rinks and try to just build new fun experiences around watching music videos and bringing people together to enjoy this sort of magic of the cinema and the energy of the music in unique locations.
And one of the first bits of feedback that we got after our launch event in 2015 was from an animator who had made a lot of content and would spend 6 months creating these wonderful works, and then put it online and just wait for clicks to come in and views to come in on YouTube. And he told us that this was the first time he'd ever seen his work on a big screen and the first time he'd ever seen people react to his work in real time. I think another element that the festival provides is the opportunity to ask questions to the directors who made these videos after we screen them, so that people can learn more about the behind the scenes and how it came about and how much their budget was, and just really have more information about the project that they wouldn't get otherwise.
Video, we're happy to have it involved. It's nominated for the Keeping It Weird Award as well.
Yeah, very
grateful. Good team involved. Thanks again. Let's have a hand for Matt and the Human Circuit.
There was like white stuff coming out of my mouth and boobs. There's slow motion boobs and people covered in plastic. I don't know, it was really weird.
We've had some of Austin's best local directors who are making music videos separately. Around the time we were coming together about 3 years ago, they discovered each other's work, have become good friends. I'm speaking specifically of John Valley and Zach Scott. And now they're collaborating on each other's work and making just really great stuff together. And we love seeing that.
And the winner of Best Director is Chloe Bird, Faye.
With music videos, it's not necessarily a place to make a lot of money for these people. And so a lot of filmmakers' day jobs are to produce commercials for television or for products. And we found that a lot of the things they produce are still very music driven. And so that's kind of what supported our decision to create a commercial category.
Yes, and those same directors are going to the music videos to experiment with new techniques or try some cutting edge or controversial kind of narratives, and then taking that at the very least to beef up their reel and show what they can do in the commercial space, or pitch clients on trying something that they might not have had faith to put the budget behind until seeing it in action in a music video.
With everything going on in the world right now and a lot of the changes in the American political sphere, we saw a lot of videos this year that reflected people's feelings about that. And they were controversial, they were political, and they made statements that we haven't seen in previous years, especially the number of submissions that reflected that kind of ideology, I think.
Yeah, it was great to see, art as a reflection of the times, and see, these various filmmakers and musicians using their music videos as a platform to say how they feel about the current political climate, and it was exciting to showcase that work.
That's right. You have artists. We received a number of submissions from Pussy Riot, for example, and they really kind of hit you over the head with their message. Very strong political messaging and speaking out against the Trump agenda, and but then we have a lot of other artists, Austin and beyond, that are maybe more subtle or interpretive, where they're putting themselves, exposing themselves and pushing some level of expression and being provocative and sort of, I think, to speak to body positive movements and inclusivity. Even John Valley's Cluckle Hen video for Whiskey Shivers, to me, is speaking to prejudice, anti-prejudice in a way, I think, even though it's using a giant chicken is perhaps a metaphor for me. Yeah, so it's just interesting to see a lot of that reflected. And we're really happy to use the AMV Fest as a platform to get out these really sort of wild and provocative forms of expression through a music video.
And people really appreciated that. We got a lot of submissions from over, I think, 15 to 20 countries, including Romania. We've gotten submissions from Iraq and Iran. We've gotten submissions from Sweden, Iceland, Spain, France. What other countries have we gotten submissions from?
Israel, now Russia, certainly Mexico, Canada.
Yep, focusing on Austin's sister city, Angers, France. We're happy to spotlight those guys. Well, I would say then that we're really happy to showcase you guys, and I'm glad that we got to build this relationship through the help of Samantha Phelps, who's been doing work in Angers for the last couple of years, I guess. And it's great to have you here, one, to celebrate, of course, Remy, who won an award, and but also for you to be documenting this and taking it back to share it. We're really happy about that, and we want to continue this relationship.
Oh yeah, thanks. Very good, beautiful. Thanks. I have to say, my English is horrible first. I apologize for that. And it was a very, very, very amazing week in the festival in Austin. It was my first time in Austin, and I appreciate it a lot. Yeah. I would like to say thank you to all these guys, Samantha, Anthony, Jeremy, and all the staff from the festival. It was a really good work. I think we should applaud all the staff and musicians. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a big goal of the festival to keep growing this international presence, again, bringing international artists to Austin to showcase their work, and then vice versa. We're going to be doing more partnerships with other film festivals, and you know, we have a lot of great content and award-winning music videos each year that we want to take other places to showcase.
Yeah, we should probably point out that we also have this award category called the Keeping It Weird Award. I don't know if you've seen the bumper stickers in Austin, but it's all about keeping it weird. That's the thing we like to say. And Austin's gone through a lot of changes. You know, I understand that Angers is a fast-growing city now. Austin's been fast-growing, and a lot of people worry about, you know, are we losing our culture, our music, our film? Is it just going to the fringes? Where is it? And that was kind of a fun aspect for us our first year as a showcase. Yes, we have really weird and excellent, fun, wild content being made by Austin artists, but then we put that next to all this other work, and we love the weird stuff. And we're all pretty weird. I mean, the Russians are doing it well, the French, the Icelanders, like Mexicans are all making wildly weird content, you know, and it just kind of shows how similar we are.
Right.
And kind of speaks again to the power of expression and the power of music videos as a medium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We look forward to you know, receiving more international, more diverse submissions next year, and hope that people are able to express themselves through their work, and that we're able to screen it and showcase you know, the diversity in thoughts around the world.
Yeah, thanks to all the artists for helping us keep it weird here in Austin together.
returning home between 12 and 1, I began to think of what a deal